What if I told you that you're sitting on a gold mine, an asset so valuable, it could be the key to unlocking your ultimate success? As a matter of fact, it's the number one reason why so many entrepreneurs are so successful in the first place. Now, this asset was so important that the Harvard Business School wrote a case study about it. And they wrote it about what would happen if you were able to master it. Curious? Stick around, because today we're diving into the ultimate guide to mastering your most valuable asset in 3 game-changing ways. All right. So let's kick this off with a reality check. When you're an employee, okay, you work for what? When you're an employee, you work for somebody else. You work for a boss, right? But when you're an entrepreneur, when you're like me, you own a practice or you own a business or you're a CEO, you work for what? You work for time. So time is your most valuable asset and your currency. Time is. Now, time isn't just something that you own. It's something that you invest for returns. All right. So let's think about the time bank analogy. Think of each day as a bank of time. All right. Everybody, me, you, everybody else, we all get the same amount of time each day. What do we get? We get 1,440 minutes a day, right? So if you sleep an average of about 7.5 hours, then you have, each day you have 1,000 hours. So you sleep about 440 minutes. Each day you have 1,000 minutes to wisely invest. So have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about your day like that and how you're going about it? Well, the ultra successful people understand that time is their most valuable asset. It's for this reason that they have things that buy back their time. They have somebody to drive them places. They have a driver. Why? Because they can conduct business while somebody's driving them. So especially in places where you're sitting in traffic a lot. They have multiple assistants. They have a chef. They have somebody that trains them. They have all of this. Why? Because they understand the concept of time. They're buying back their time instead of cooking their own meal, they're buying back their time. That's just one example. So if the ROI, if the return on investment is greater than the cost, then they understand it's a win-win situation. Now, let me ask you, if you're still mowing your own yard, if you're still cleaning your own house, if you're still washing your car in the driveway, if you're still going to Walmart, fighting in the crowds, checking out, doing self-checkout, all that, what is all that costing you? Well, if you're doing all these things, you may be thinking that, hey, I mow my own lawn, or I go grocery shop myself, or I do all this stuff because you're saving yourself money. You're saving yourself money by doing it yourself. Well, I used to think like this too, because this is how I was raised. Maybe you as well. Maybe you see other people around you, maybe other friends, parents, whatever, they're doing that too. You're like, oh yeah, he's saving money by doing this himself. But once you start thinking about it from a time saving perspective, saving this 1,440 minutes, saving this 1,000 minutes that we have to invest, once you start thinking like this, again, it's a mindset shift, things are going to really start to dramatically change. All right. And speaking of mindset shift, let's talk about the 2 different paths. You have the traditional path and you have the entrepreneurial path. All right. More than likely, most people are on, probably you right now, we're going to change things, but right now you're probably on the traditional career path. And the traditional career path typically focuses on perfecting a skill, okay? So maybe you're a doctor, so your skill is to treat patients, or a dentist, or maybe you're an attorney. Your skill is to screw other people. I don't know, it depends on what kind of attorney you are. But you're focused on go to school, get a job, get a career, and get really good at this skill, right? But as entrepreneurs, if you get to the point where you become an entrepreneur, then your time and their time is best spent looking at problems, looking at market gaps in whatever industry that you're in, and then you simply solve problems. I tell my boys this all the time. They're teenagers. I said, boys, you want to be an entrepreneur? You know what entrepreneurs do? They're like, what? They're a problem solver. Okay. That's the business. That's the real goal if you want to do that. So think about it. Think about where you are. Let's say, you're a dentist like me. Well, if you're like that, you want to spend your time identifying the problems that dentists have. Who better knows it than me? Whatever you do, whatever your career is, whatever your job is, you know the problems that are facing, with dentistry. It's tough. It's mentally taxing. It's physically demanding. Back, neck, shoulder, hand, dealing with staff, dealing with patients, running all these different things. I mean, it's sometimes it's crazy. I get that. But if I'm trying to explain that to somebody that's not a dentist, they're thinking, oh, you're just some rich guy who just scratches on teeth. They don't get it. But you're the one that gets the problems of whatever you do right now currently. Okay? So spend your time identifying what these problems are and what the gaps are in whatever your chosen market space is. Then you buy back your time with a team who has actually specialized set of skills to help solve those problems. All right. So let me give you an example. One of the problems that faces physicians and dentists are they only have one income stream coming in. So that is leading to burnout. Burnout is a huge problem. Over 50% of physicians and dentists now, according to research, are facing signs of burnout. Well, if I know that burnout's a problem and they only have one stream of income, well, that's a huge problem. Well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go find people that can help them with those problems. I'm going to help them figure out how they can get multiple streams of income. And that's one of the things that I've done with real estate. I've found the experts in the real estate that can help my group. I've got over 2,200 people in my group to get extra streams of income. Okay. Once you figure this out, that's your company, that's your business. That's what you should be focused on. Instead of what most people focus on is just this one skill. And I was talking to a kid yesterday. I say kid, he was 21 years old. Fit kid, he's in the weight room and, he's, doing all the stuff with the phone and all that. I was like, hey man, do you train people? And he's like, no, I was actually thinking about it. And, my brother was an engineer, but he's actually making more money training people at the gym. He's like $30-$40, an hour or whatever. And I just started kind of talking to him about this stuff. And he was thinking about doing it. He was focused on, okay, I got a skill I can work out. I'm going to train somebody $30 an hour. But once I started getting him to expand his mind and how time is more important than this. So instead of just going one-on-one, how about doing group training stuff online? And so instead of making $30-$40 an hour, he can make $10,000 to $20,000 a month by getting a group of people. And then you can just see the wheels just turning. Okay. So we've got to start thinking differently. All right. So you can't control like your market, whatever market you're in. You can't control your customers. I can't control my patients. If you have a product, sometimes you can't really control the product where it's from, but you can control one thing, and that's how you use your time. So the question is, are you ready to stop being somebody that watches the clock all the time because you're on the clock, right? And start being a time investor? What do you think? Got a question? Whatever, comment, drop it below. I will answer it. I answer everything perfectly. I answer everything quickly, and I will DM you. If we have more information, we can get further with it. So if you have somebody out there that you know that needs help with their time, do me a favor, send this video to them. Thanks for sticking around.